A custom statue in the sanctuary? Hey guys, welcome back to the Sanctuary. So Wonder Woman is actually not the first custom statue in the Sanctuary. I did have a Henry Cavill piece that I bought years ago, right at the beginning of my collecting journey, which I no longer own, but for a long time it was the best likeness of Henry Cavill on the market. And I do have a Superman that's also a fan-made piece that I'll review separately. But let's take a look at Wonder Woman. All right, so it's a quarter scale piece. 25 inches tall to the top of that column. And I'm going to go straight to the base because that's what sold the piece for me. I've never bought a statue from this particular company. I've often looked at their statues because they tend to have really beautiful portraits. And this one I just had to own. I love it. It's not only seductive, it also says to me, do you really think these chains can hold me? I just love it. I think it's an absolutely awesome portrait. It does come with another portrait, which I will show you a little bit later on. Some nice subtle texture on the skin, as you can see there. The paint looks really good everywhere except there is, it's hard to focus, a little overspray on the top of that leather looking strap. Other than that, I'm perfectly happy with the paint app. Take a look at the base. One of those ruin bases. Nice looking sword. And we got the shield on this side. Really nice base. I love this tall column. Looks really good. Really nice paint on it. It's kind of a simplified costume. There's not a lot of detail, but obviously the body sculpt is fantastic. The red has kind of a mottled appearance to it. This is from a piece of art, so the art has the same sort of red modeling paint. So I guess they're copying that. Really nice boots. Good stitching detail. Give you a partial rear view there. Great detail on the hair. Looks really, really good. And it looks even better on the other side. So let's take a look at that. Just the flow of the hair looks really good. Got the lasso. Assembly was challenging, and only because of the chains and the portrait. So the way this works is you assemble her bottom, her legs essentially onto the base, and then her torso onto the base. And then before you put the portrait on, you put these chains on, these crisscrossing chains. And the reason you do that is because they're on pegs underneath her hair. So they have to go on before her portrait goes on. But the challenge is, once you got those chains on, she's chained to the column, and now you got to put the portrait on, and you kind of have to wedge it between her head, her hair. You have to wedge it between her head and the column. And they give you instructions in a video that if you need more slack, to push the chain up on the column, and that should loosen it. it was very challenging to get it through her arms, to get her portrait through her arms, while also getting the hair as far down as it's supposed to be without chipping it or damaging the paint or something like that. I had a very difficult time. In fact, I'm not sure you can see it, but I scratched up her arm a little bit here and here. It's subtle and doesn't bother me too much, but everybody wants a perfect statue, so it is a little bit annoying that that happened. But it's just a complicated engineering on the piece because of the chains. And then after you got the portrait on, then you put the forearms and hands on, and you add these chains up here. And that part was also complicated. They did put out a video on how to put those chains on the statue, and I followed that. But there were times in that video where it was difficult to see where the person's fingers were going. So that was a bit of a challenge. So you have to be extremely patient when you're assembling this piece if you do get it. It's really beautiful. I'm very happy with it. I do have a Red Sonja piece on order from this company as well. That's due, I'm guessing, first quarter of next year. And is just as beautiful as this one. Okay, here's the alternate portrait. I am not going to display it on the statue because of what I just described. It would be very difficult to take off the chains, remove this portrait, put this portrait on, and put the chains back on without damaging something. So I'm just not going to do that, but I want you to get a good look at it. It is also a beautiful portrait. I just happen to like this one better, but I could see some people displaying this one as well. Let's see if I can give you a longer shot there. The hair, I believe, is the same on each portrait. It's just the face is different. Oh, and this piece on her forehead is silver instead of gold. It's a really beautiful portrait. So if you have this piece, let me know. Which one are you using? I thought you might like to see how a custom piece displays with a sideshow piece. I think Black Canary is one of Sideshow's best premium formats, and I think they display together very, very well. In fact, I might have them next to each other on a shelf. They look great together. If you don't have this piece, I highly recommend picking it up. It really is a beautiful, beautiful statue. But they look good together. Might need to get Harley in on the act down there. Although Wonder Woman is too tall for my lower shelf. She's going to have to go on top at 25 inches. Two beauties. Some people might think this is kind of an over-sexualized take on Wonder Woman with her bound up like that. Wonder Woman was created by Dr. William Marston, a psychologist from Harvard, who was also involved somehow with the creation of the polygraph machine. Really interesting guy. He was married, but he also had another woman living with them in kind of a polygamous relationship. And then a third woman sometimes joined the party. There's a very good movie about him called Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman. Really, really good movie. I recommend that. But he created Wonder Woman based on a suggestion from his wife. And bondage was the theme of the Golden Age Wonder Woman comics. Either she was in bondage, or she was putting villains in bondage, or she was using her lasso to bound someone so they would tell the truth. It runs through the Golden Age books. It's very, very common, and it's part of her history. So to me, this is actually a very interesting historical take on Wonder Woman. It is a very provocative piece, no doubt about it, and that's one of the reasons that I like it. You guys might remember earlier in the year, I ordered and reviewed the Prime One Artgerm Museum Masterline Wonder Woman, the 1/3 one. And I love that piece. I think it's really cool, great dynamic pose, but I like this one better. Beauty is such a huge aspect of Wonder Woman to me. I want the most beautiful Wonder Woman statue there is, and I think this is it in any scale. So if you want it, it might be tough to find. Like I said, the edition size was just 90, and I believe it's sold out. So you might have to find it on the secondary market, but she's worth it. She's absolutely worth it. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you soon on Facebook. I'll see you on Statue Forum and at a convention near you. Have a great weekend. Take care.